Okay, so I just introduce this new wonderful presentation. Jill Walker, you are going to present your MCC Legacy project, which is, as I said before, a milestone in every training journey. So, Jill, very looking forward to be part of this presentation and listen to what you want to share with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Christina. And thank you for everybody for coming. I'm really grateful and yeah, looking forward to sharing this legacy project with you. So I've titled it Lightness of Being and the Art of Letting Go, Space, Presence, and Trust, because as I've gone through this whole journey, I think this really captures one kind of my journey of learning in identifying my lightness of being and also letting go of a lot of clutter and junk along the way, and to move into this place of space, presence, and trust. And so as we go through this, I'm going to share with you, I'm going to start with the elements of my MCC learning journey that's kind of led to this legacy that I see myself carrying forward. And I've kind of broken it down into three parts of my journey, three big learnings. The first one is the process of moving from clutter to space. And when I was a kid, had a very messy room. This picture on the left kind of shows what my room could sometimes look like as a child. And as I grew into an adult, I carried some of that with me. I'm a little bit tight. I've been a little bit tidier, but I still have a little bit of messiness in me. But it's moved into more over the years, sort of this picture on the right, which is like the organized chaos. I know where everything is, but there's still a lot of stuff. And as I've grown and matured, and especially in recent years, as I've started going through decluttering and coaching and this MCC journey, I kind of realized this belief that I had that was tied to this. And as you see this guy on the left carrying this pack, he's doing that because he wants to feel prepared and ready. And I realized that all this stuff I had surrounding me was a safety net for me. It's so I felt prepared and ready, ready for that crafting project I might want to do in the future. Or if that thing breaks, I have that thing to fix it, kind of that preparation. And I realized that this carried into how I viewed coaching as well. So when I first started coaching, I love to collect tools and resources. So, when you think about like values inventories or those exercises, the inner critic exercises where you like create a character out of the inner critic. I love to collect these. And there's nothing wrong with these tools. They're great tools, but I would arm myself with them. And it was like I was carrying a big bag of tools into my coaching sessions to help me feel prepared and ready so that, I could always pull one out of my bag if I needed to. My new belief that I've developed is I realize that I no longer need all this stuff. I don't need the tools. I don't need those extra resources or inventories because in the sessions we have all the tools and resources we need already. So can be a resource as a coach. The process of coaching, the coaching process is a wonderful, beautiful tool to use. And the client that I'm coaching, they are the most important resource. They hold all the wisdom and answers and everything they need in them already. So this realization that in this space, we have what we need already, and releasing the need to have the clutter and tools and stuff along the way. And so there's this quote that I like by Joshua Becker. Minimalism is the intentional promotion of the things we most value. And this is really carried over into how I see myself as a coach, in that if I keep my space really clutter-free, if I have just the coaching space itself, it leaves so much room. It leaves room for the things that are most important, for whatever the client wants to bring, their values, what's important to them, rather than being filled with all this other stuff. And so my second learning, and it is similar in a lot of ways, but it's the process of letting go, but moving into full presence. And for those of you that joined the book presentation, I did my book presentation on Coach the Person, Not the Problem, by Marsha Reynolds. So this has been an ongoing kind of theme for me in terms of the letting go and really learning to lean into full presence as a coach. And this has been a big MCC learning for me. Because previously, my brain, just like my physical space was cluttered, my brain could be cluttered. And, I could be in a coaching session with my mind full of questions and worries and trying to solve the problems. And then I would also sometimes fill the space. I have the impulse to fill the space with my own thoughts or my mm-hms, my yas, wows, wonderfuls, all these things that didn't bring value. And as I learned to be able to let go of all those things, then suddenly there's more space without the clutter. But in that space, it allows me to be fully present, because my mind is clutter free. My heart, my body, everything is free, open, spacious, and I can then be fully present. And so I like this image because I think it's a really good visualization of how my mind used to be and how more of what my MCC mindset is. So previously my mind was full of clutter. And now I can be more mindful. There's space just to be fully present. And at this point, I wanted to open it up for all of you to invite you to think about if there's anything in your life, maybe recently or maybe more in the past, but things that you've let go of to make more space for something else. And I'll give you a moment to think, but then you're welcome to share.
Did you open your microphone?
Yes, I did. Because, the first thing which came to my mind is actually control. First thing we need to let go is the control about the content, about how to solve the issue, what are the ways to get there, how to help client to solve it. Because we are not fixers, we are coaches. So problem solvers. This is not us, as also Marsha mentioned. So this is one of the basic things, letting go of the control and just trust.
Yeah. Thank you, Vit.
I totally agree.
I have to say that I still in the process of letting go. I was just laughing because before this call, I saw Christina's evaluation of my assessment, the first coaching session, and say, great, excellent, wonderful. So I'm still in control. So, and I resonate a lot about it, and I'm learning. But it's a good process. I'm enjoying the process. So.
Thank you. We were all learning all the time. And Britt, you were going to say something too, I think.
Yeah, it was in line with what is already said, but I'm thinking of just that it's not me to perform. It's not me to have the responsibility of this coaching. It is to really trust my client and to really realize that it is my client that sit there with the wisdom and have the solutions, and I am just there to be there beside my client and to offer questions to wider the perspectives and so on, not to find solutions and not to fix anything. So I think it's already said, but I said it again.
Yeah, thank you. It's always nice to hear. Anyone else? Okay.
I would like to add, it's connected with the thought of control, but what came up to my mind was that I let go parts of myself, some special aspects of myself that are connected with control or fear. So part of Eva is away. And thanks to this can come new room, new things. So part of me, I had to let it be. Mm.
Yeah. I like that you say part of you, because there's part of you that you still keep, right? Because you're not, yeah, we're not robots, we're humans. And so you're still keeping the parts of you that bring the value to the sessions. Yeah. Okay, thank you everybody for your thoughts. And I think Britt has read my mind, because my third part is very much tied to what Britt was saying. So this was my third kind of learning journey, was moving from the pressure to perform magic, to be a performer, into trust, which is exactly what Britt just said. But, you know, I think when I started coaching, there was this sort of elusiveness around coaching to me, when I would see these coaches talk about tapping into their intuition. And I remember working with this coach that she would say, I'm getting an intuitive hit in this session. And so there was this feeling like, oh, am I supposed to be doing more? And this pressure I felt to kind of that I should share wisdom with the client and things like that. And as I've learned that it's not about that. It's not about me taking up the space. It's just about being present and with that trust. I don't need to perform in any way. And as I go into the trust, I kind of break down the trust into three. I love threes, apparently, but into three parts. And so the first part of trust is one, trusting the space again, and trusting the coaching process. Because if that's there, that's in place, and that can help to guide us, give us a process to follow, and the space gives the space to hold whatever comes up. And trusting this space and the process really just allows for the client to offer and bring whatever they need, whatever they want. Number two, trusting the greatness of the client. And again, my mantra, coach the person, not the problem. I think that I've really evolved in how I even think of that. And the one realization that has really helped me, and working with Christina, I made this shift to start to see this, that it's not just I'm coaching the person, not the problem, but I'm coaching this higher version, this higher self of the client. So they have, their self that comes forward with the stories, the problems, the challenges, which there's plenty of wisdom in that. But then I'm actually coaching this higher self, this wise version of themselves that holds the answers and the wisdom. And so that shift has really helped me to see and understand how to coach and trust the greatness of the client. And then my third and probably most challenging part of the trust is trusting myself. Trusting myself to just be present and to just notice, to just be there, be fully present and open in the space. Let go of the clutter, let go of the pressure, and just be for the client and what they offer. And I wanted to share a side effect with you that I've noticed. But one of the things that I just realized this year that has changed in me, because previous to this year, I always had a lot of anxiety, like nervousness, before I would go into any kind of class or meeting, even like Sunlight Academy classes or coaching supervision sessions or meetings. Feeling nervous to participate and speak, which meant sometimes I didn't speak at all. But if I did, I'd really be thinking so much about what I was going to say, and wouldn't be able to really listen as well to other people. And then when I'd speak, I'd get confused. And it was really a challenge for me. And I've realized that through this journey, something has shifted in me that that doesn't happen as much anymore. And I feel much more comfortable in speaking up and sharing. And I think that some of it is because I've cleared out the clutter. I can be more present. My mind is clearer so that I can just, be present to what others are saying and then just offer with more clarity and participate, and know that there's value and that it matters, rather than kind of questioning it all. So that's one of the side effects of the MCC journey for me. And on that note, because I've shared my kind of unexpected side effect, I wanted to offer the question to all of you. If there's any kind of unexpected changes or growth that maybe you've seen change or shift in yourself as you've grown as coaches and you've been on this journey.
Reflective question, so we can leave our participants time to reflect, breathe.
I don't know how to explain this, but it is something. I think it's connected to follow the client and also to use the client's words. That my biggest insight is to coach with ease. I think that is the biggest change, and something that it was unexpected for me, because I thought in the beginning that I was going to something that would be more difficult. And it is more difficult in one way, because you need to have a lot of training, and you need to have awareness, and you need to have new knowledge and that kind of things. But then to mix this everything into a pot, and maybe if you eat it or if you breathe it or whatever you do with it, then to let it come into your body and be there grounded, and that you can use this when you need it with ease, so that you can follow your client with your new transformational knowledge in a way. That is something that have become quite clear for me just the latest weeks. And when I think back to July when I started, I thought that I had another kind of journey in front of me. So that has been very interesting.
Thank you for sharing that, Britt. I like your analogy about the pot and that you can eat and breathe. Anyone else have any thoughts?
I would like to add that it helped me with my language, with my language in general, because I began to formulate my thoughts with less words that are accurate and clear, and that helped me very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, there's a little bit of a theme there of simplicity, of simplifying, and yeah, it's funny how that happens. We don't expect it to be simple, but thank you. Anyone else before I move on? Okay, thank you for sharing. So just a recap, my MCC mindset that I've shared with you, space, presence, and trust. These are my simple words that make up my mindset. And when I think of what my client gets from me as an MCC coach, I bring to them my clear mind, because I've decluttered. And that in that clear mind, there's this beginner's mindset. So that element of curiosity. I don't have the answers, but I can be curious with them. The second part is offering my essence. So like Eva said, she leaves part of herself behind, but there's still, part of us that's there, because we are human beings. And although this part of me doesn't need to take up space, it's within me. So I'm bringing my own essence of curiosity, creativity, and humor as my MCC coaching self. And then the third thing I bring to the client that they get from me is the trust. So I'm honoring my client as an equal partner. And this honoring word means a lot to me, because as I've been on this journey, I really struggled in the beginning to find ways to verbally celebrate the client. without feeling like I'm patting a dog on a head saying good job. And words like honoring and acknowledging, appreciating, and being grateful have really helped me to find ways to honor, and honor I think is my favorite, but honor and celebrate the client in a way that feels authentic to me, and has really allowed me to start utilizing that in my coaching more. And also seeing how that shifts things for the client and does, contribute to that trusting space where they feel even more comfortable and open to speak up and share as well. And then finally, my legacy. So to explain my legacy, I want to explain my MCC mindset. So my PCC mindset. So as a PCC coach, I love to use this analogy of coaching, that coaching is like a science lab, because we can experiment, we can be playful and try things and experiment. And the client can, they can try something. If it works, we can celebrate. If it doesn't work, then, they can tweak it. And I love this analogy and I still like it. But the thing about the science lab is that this space, it's tidy, but there's still a lot of stuff in it. And in fact, the stuff, there's a lot of breakable stuff there. You have to be careful of the beakers and the test tubes. There's, flammable stuff. It's not really a playful space, and it's limited. We're limited by the walls and the ceilings, and what we can do in this space. So my MCC legacy looks a little bit more like this. So this open field, because in this space, we can still experiment, we can be curious, but there's also room to play. There's room to run free, and there's a lot more space. I keep using that word space, but whereas in the science lab, the walls and the ceiling, the floor create this kind of limited space. In this space here, literally the sky's the limit. There is really no limits to the possibility of what can happen in that space in this kind of ever-expanding universe. So I think this describes my legacy a little bit better. And that is what I would like to share for everybody today. So thank you for joining and participating and sharing your thoughts as well.
Thank you, Jill. I mean, these last images are very, they speak loud and they tell the story of your journey in just a couple of 3 images. And I'm very grateful and happy that you came to this point. And yeah, my question, as usual, is what is the gift that you have received from yourself by working at this activity and project?
Well, it's really fun to go through that process, because it forced me to kind of think of myself as an MCC coach, maybe for the first time. And I think particularly when I talked to you and I realized that shift from the lab to the field, I think that was a big gift for myself, because I think that really encapsulates the learning and what has shifted.
Your transformation, I mean, the fact that you gave a shape, you're giving a shape to your new way of being a coach, or your evolved way of being a coach, which is needs to be declared and celebrated through this work. So thank you so much. Yes, Britt, you raised your hand.
Thank you so much, Jill. It was really a wonderful presentation and also an eye-opener in many ways. And I, as you said yourself, loved really those 2 images in the end, and especially the MCC field. And the first thought that popped up in that field, except that it was just a wonderful feeling that popped up. I really would like to enjoy to be there in that field with you, Jill, and be coached by you there. And I also saw a lot of choices that I could be that on that field and be in that flat mark and and have decided just to have quite an not so many challenges and just be there and be grateful what was there. And even if I just wanted as a client to stay there, there would be a lot of things to celebrate and to really enjoy all the flowers and everything around there. But you had also these mountains on the side where I could decide if I would like to go even wider. I could try to climb together with you there and maybe go to the top and see something to be in the top, or maybe even go further and go down again and see what's there behind. So I think that picture was so touching. So thank you so much, Jill.
Oh, yeah. You can come to visit my field anytime.
Yeah, that's true. It's really a transformation of identity, and I'm glad that you mentioned actually embracing the MCC self. And this is also what happens when at the PCC level, our coaches, they generate their coaching model. It gives shape and form and a tangible way to express who you are as a coach. So the MCC is a sort of step forward to, as you painted, as you described, a more simple, more open, and more, you mentioned the beginner's mindset, which is beautiful and important, because yes, we have to let go and go to this beginner's mindset, which is not naive, but very genuine and simple. So thank you so much, Jill, for your presentation. Thank you.